The roofing industry is broken, and we've got the fix. At Hire a Pro, we help homeowners do the same thing a roofer would do when it hails on their own house. Own the project, delegate the tasks, and keep the compensation. But you don't have to take my word for it. You could ask Chrissy. Chrissy, how'd it go?
It went great. You educated us on how everything worked, showed us behind the curtain, so to speak, and after our $25,000 roof was replaced, we walked away with almost $6,000 for the work we put in.
And what work was that?
We got the permit and we picked the color. Hire a Pro handled everything else. You did a great job, and I'm not even being paid to say that. If anyone's listening and has a storm damage claim, call them. Don't hire a roofer, hire a pro.
That's awesome. I appreciate the kind words, and I think you just made up our new motto. All right, Joe, you're up.
So if insurance has approved your roof replacement, give these guys a call at 651-402-3400 or visit them online at hire.pro. That's hire, and then put the dot there, pro.
Hey, Garage Logic fans, I do a podcast on the Garage Logic Network that comes out every Wednesday and Friday now, twice a week. But here's an important caveat. There is zero logic available in my show, in the formal definition of logic. Of course, life is a yin and yang kind of thing. There's the logic side, and then there's the what the hell side, which needs to get its exercise. So come for the what the hell and stay for the you've got to be kidding me. Mishki, now Wednesdays and Fridays, twice a week.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
That's right. It's time for the Weekly Scramble podcast. My name is Chris Reavers. With me, as always, his name is Mike Fratelloni. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Reavers?
I'm doing okay. We're, I got to tell you, man, I went outside for just a brief walk because I like to just get up and stretch my legs. Yeah. We're robbing the man right now.
Oh, yeah. It is really beautiful right now.
Isn't it supposed to be like 83 degrees next week?
I think for the next foreseeable quick future, the next 10-day forecast, it's beautiful.
It's almost like it's the end of summer again all over. I love it. Anyway.
I've been doing sprints. I'm going to digress.
Oh, God, here we go.
So I heard this thing that if you do sprints as an adult man, your testosterone boosts, right? You get that. You don't have to take a nap at 3:30 every day, right? Or want to take a nap at 3:30. I can't take a nap at 3:30.
Okay.
But I've been doing sprints, and it's so beautiful outside, Reavers. So beautiful that I took some videos of myself doing it and sent them to my wife, and my wife was like, why?
What are you?
I'm shirtless, running through the grass, right? Up on the hill in my yard, right?
Okay.
Running through the grass, doing these sprints, playing great music, Christopher Cross sailing away, just killing it. Sent the videos. I thought I looked awesome. My wife's like, how dare you send something like that to me? Don't ever put a video like that out into the world.
Right.
What if somebody saw that? Granted, I was just wearing shorts, right? I just had my shorts on, nothing else, just no shirt. And then I looked at it introspectively, and I thought, God, am I old? I'm just old and saggy tits. Can I say saggy tits? And I'm not overweight. I just look like I'm saggy.
No, you don't.
Wait till you see me running fast with my shirt. And running fast is probably 7 miles per hour.
Do you hear
right?
that?
Oh, my God. It's so sad, Reavers.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I was talking to a gentleman who is in the real estate game.
Okay.
And he and I were just chit-chatting, and he and I are about the same age. In fact, he brought up the fact that, oh, yeah, I faced you in high school. And I was like, oh. Okay. He's like, yeah, you struck me out.
Oh, nice.
I go,
okay.
Of course I did.
Yeah, of course. Struck them all
because
out.
my two boys are standing there and they're like, no way. He's like, oh yeah, it was very funny.
Sure.
But in any event, so he and I are almost the exact same age, and he and his wife just had a son, and so he's not even a year old.
Oh, he's just starting.
And so because they had, I think, 4 girls, and he's like, I don't care how many kids we're going to have, I want to have a son.
Good
right?
for him.
But anyway, he was talking about that very thing. And I said, oh, just trust me. They keep you young. You're on the go. Yeah. You're always like, it's 8:30 at night in the middle of July. Yep, we're going to go play catch in the driveway, right? Or whatever. I said, I love it. I wish I could freeze time because this is the best, right? And so I was basically telling him that, like, hey, just don't worry about it. You don't have a choice.
I thought you were going to tell me a story about he having saggy man boobs and he couldn't run. And I was like, well, that's something you might not want to throw that guy under the bus with.
But that's basically what he told me is he said, because he's a very successful real estate person. And he just said, I don't have time to be active. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do that stuff anymore. And I just said, hey, you have a newborn son, like you're going to be in the game. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you'll be forced to at least go sit at some ice arena for 11 hours a week.
Oh, I can't even. I'm so glad neither one of my kids played hockey. Oh, my goodness
I'm really
gracious.
glad I shared that with you because I was feeling bad about myself. And if you're watching this online, look right now. Like, I'm not even really sucking in. I'm not fat.
No, you're not
But
fat
if I was
at all.
running, see?
Awaken180weightloss.com.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Good. How's that going for you?
It's going very well, actually. The energy level is up. The weight, I lost a few pounds in the very first week, and then I kind of plateaued, and I had some stuff going on, with family and whatnot, so I wasn't able to stick to it as much as I wanted to. And then, of course, I completely forgot about my check-in call with Emma, so Emma's now, I'm now on Emma's list.
Now you're on the list.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I said I got to call Emma as soon as we're done with the show today. But it's been great. I honestly, I really do enjoy it.
I look forward to hearing more about that as time goes on because I want to see you just shrivel down.
Oh, I'm going to get shredded.
Are you?
No question about it.
6-pack maybe.
Oh, no
Not
question.
drink a 6-pack, Reavers. Have a 6-pack.
And that's the thing. Okay, I really wanted to get to it, but this is worth bringing up. The thing is, so before I started here, I was working for a large chain.
You can say Lifetime Fitness.
Okay, I was working for Lifetime Fitness.
Yeah, everyone knows what it is.
And I was working there. I loved the job. I really enjoyed my time there. I still have a bunch of amazing friends that work there. It's just the corporate structure in which I was surrounded by wasn't gonna work for me long term.
But you were making a ton of money.
Yes, and I did want to get back into radio, and that's why I left that business and then came here to Hubbard Broadcasting almost 18 years ago now. And I'm glad I did. I love working here, everything else. But that is a part of your life that you do kind of miss. And I do really miss that. I really do.
Because start running sprints outside.
There you go.
It's going to be great.
I can't wait.
Okay, well, I'm so glad I shared that. This is cathartic. This show is
what
where
we
I
do
tell
here.
everybody everything. Then I think, why did I say that? Why? Everybody doesn't
Because
even know
here's
that.
the thing.
I'd share it with the frat pack, of course, but not everybody.
Here's the thing. The reason that I love what I do is you think at some brief moment in time, no matter who you're connecting with, whoever's listening to you right now, someone out there is going through the same thing you are. You know what I mean? So the ability to be authentic and also have a bit of humility to yourself really resonates with people. I mean, I'm this way off the air. I don't play a character when I crack a microphone.
No,
this is who I am.
Same. You're a little more Reavers off the air, right?
Sometimes I
do
can
have
be.
to apologize to somebody though when you're done with your thought.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, at the state fair, having a great time at the fair.
Yeah,
right.
God, and by the way, how many awesome people did we run into?
This is a great story about one that I missed. So I'm standing there with my wife. A guy from across the street says, "Hey, Frau, what's up?" I don't hear a thing he says. So I wave my hands in the air and give him like a, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Didn't really understand what we did. I walk away. My wife, we get about 100 yards away. And my wife says, he said, "It's nice to see you out with your pick." Person in charge, my wife.
Oh.
And he's a total listener of the show. I just 100% didn't hear what he said.
Right.
So I was almost making, like when I was waving, I'm like, oh, was he actually talking to me? Like I didn't catch that he said my name. And my wife, who's still young and can hear things, was like, no. He said, "Hey, Fratalonia, it's nice to see you out with your
that's
pick."
cool.
So I totally did one of these Joe Souchere's like, "See you later." Like
right.
I left, not intentionally. Because I'm not that guy. I don't have the balls to blow somebody off. I just have poor hearing, so I accidentally did it. So I apologize.
And you've seen me when we're in the midst of the state fair crowds. Like the first Thursday when we would always do the beer show or the weekly scramble was always the best.
Yeah.
I was fresh. I was, as I call it, state fair fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't burnt out by the crowd. Hey, let's go hang out.
Sure.
And then I just got to come back for one day, and then I get the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And then by that second Thursday, I'm done.
But you're still kind to everybody.
Of course, yeah,
and
of
if
course.
some guy would have said Reavers, you would have like naturally
100%
done something. And I just blew this guy off, and he was the nicest guy potentially. I didn't even know. He could have been a frat packer for all I know, and I totally accidentally blew him off.
And my two kids are always, "Oh, God, Dad, stop it and talk to somebody else again. Let's go
what
on
you
a
do
ride."
is just tell your kids. I started to do this. I started telling my kids I'm famous, right? And they just hate it. It just pisses them off. And they're like, why did that guy honk at you in the car? Like, because I went past him and almost drove him off the road.
Yeah.
But I just say to him, it's probably because I'm famous. Probably.
Probably.
I mean, No one knows who I am, but I can at least say that. I have a podcast with you. That's something. Okay, let's get to a real story.
Okay, let's do that. So you actually sent this to me this morning, and a story that I was not aware of. However, Megyn Kelly, we all know who Megyn Kelly is, has claimed that Erika Kirk, the widow of the slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk, was left genuinely rattled by a tongue-in-cheek article by a journalist claiming to have paid a witch to place a curse on her late husband. The story was published by the feminist publication Jezebel on September 8th, 2 days before Kirk, 31, was shot dead by a rooftop sniper while speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Without attribution to a particular writer, Jezebel took the story down once news of Kirk's murder broke and issued a statement denouncing political violence, but according to Kelly, not before the Kirks had learned of its contents and been distressed by it. The former Fox News anchor said on her Sirius XM show on Tuesday that she had wrestled with whether to address the out-of-left-field story, but ultimately decided to proceed in the interest of serving up public censor. Recapping the article in detail in a tone of seething contempt, particularly when required to pronounce the disgusting publication's name, Kelly explained that the author had reached out to several self-identifying witches via the e-commerce platform Etsy about the possibility of hiring them to place a hex on the Turning Point USA founder. They did so, they explained, in the hope of punishing the far-right, misogynistic, with a bad haircut for what they consider to be his years of regressive rhetoric. Quote, I want to make it clear, I'm not calling on dark forces to cause him harm, the author of the piece wrote. I just want him to wake up every morning with an inexplicable zit. I want his podcast microphone to malfunction every time he hits record. I want his blue blazers to suddenly all be one size too small. I want one of his socks to always be sliding down his foot. I want his thumb to grow too big, too sweet, or to tweet, to ruin his day with the collective feminist power of the Etsy coven would be my life's greatest joy.
So stop there for a second. So I listened to Megyn Kelly talk about this, and Megyn spoke with Erika, and Erika told her that 2 days before Charlie was killed, that Charlie and her prayed about this because this really affected Erika. So put yourself in the mindset of a true believing Christian, right? And maybe you are, I don't know, but
sure.
a deeply devout, true believing, the Bible is the word of Christ Christian. And she hears that somebody is putting a hex on her husband. Dark-spirited witches, Satan side of the ledger is putting a hex on her husband. They were disturbed enough to stop, talk about it, and pray about it. And then 2 days later, your husband's murdered. I think the first thing she thought of was that person who put a hex on my husband killed my husband. Not just the person who actually shot her husband, but if you're putting all these dots together and someone wishes you incredible ill will, in fact, goes out to Etsy to hire a witch to put a hex on you, it doesn't take a huge master link to blend those two things together.
Right.
This poor girl loses her husband and then thinks that someone has the power, and maybe they do, to kill her husband with a hex. It's so freaking despicable and so disgusting. I just can't put my mind around it.
Well, and here's why there's so many things that have developed in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk sadly being assassinated. And that's whether it's the people that are coming out and celebrating who are some of the most vile, disgusting people on the planet, whether it's those that came out and outspoken and outraged about Jimmy Kimmel being suspended. This entire lack of just common sense and decency, I think, has really been lost in our society. And that's what's been troubling to me. Because, unfortunately, there are people I know personally who were posting stuff, and I thought, what is wrong with you?
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought, I don't care, anybody you could take that I completely disagree with on every single level. If they were to lose their life, the last thing I'm even remotely going to think about is celebrating that on social media.
100%.
You have to be such a deep-rooted, sick, twisted individual to take any type of excitement or glee in someone losing their life? What is wrong with you?
So let me ask you this. Let's take this link a little bit. Could she sue Jezebel, sue the author who wrote the story, sue the woman who put the hex on him, go all the way to Etsy, sue Etsy for allowing people to go onto Etsy? And I just searched Etsy as we were talking here. You can pay $150 to get a custom personalized spell against someone in your life. So do you sue Etsy and say, Etsy, you're putting this out into the world. I believe that if you're telling us you're putting a hex, you're saying that this works. You don't put a disclaimer saying these are made up, they don't actually work, pay me $150. You're convincing people that they do work. So whoever put the hex on him, does the Kirk Foundation, does Turning Point, does Erika herself go ahead and sue the crap out of every single person and have Etsy say, we are sorry, we are going to take down these satanic hexes off of our
But
Etsy.
At the same time, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, not because I disagree with you. A, what does that solve? And B, what those people did, while yes, some might say it incited violence and more fuel to anger people that might do harm to the likes of Charlie Kirk, how in any way would they be deemed liable for what happened?
Well, if I'm a hex provider, let's just pretend I'm a hex provider.
Mike here for...
And I say, hey, for $150, I can do a QuickTime hex, guaranteed to work, some way it will work, and all of a sudden, 2 days later, the person's dead. I went into a contract with that person saying, you're going to pay me. I'm telling you I'm going to perform. Oh, by the way, the person it performed against is now dead. There is some court, there is some lawyer that will say, I'll take that case and I'll dig in the pockets of Etsy.
No doubt.
And Etsy will have to pay for this. And then, oh, by the way, they'll cut off all this trash crap on Etsy where, I mean, if you're reading this banish illness spell, abundance spell, a revenge spell, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That should not be allowed on Etsy.
All right, hang on to that thought. We'll come right back to this, but I want to mention our friends at We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com. You'll be very happy, Michael, to know that today on the Garage Logic podcast, I did issue an apology.
You did?
To the New Hope Fratelloni's hardware store because Gary complained that they didn't sell Seafoam, and so I publicly shamed Gary on the Garage Logic show just to give you guys your good name at the New Hope Fratelloni's. He still hasn't
written me, Mike at garagelogic.com, so I can send him out a gift card and prove to him all the stuff. Someone else on the Frat Pack wrote that we don't sell a certain grill. I'm like, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Or have DeWalt tools. Yes, we do.
Send me a free one then and prove it.
Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe I didn't even pay attention that I was getting a hook, line, and sinker.
You're getting
into it.
fished, man.
Oh, you know what? That's why you don't drive and read social media. Because I was driving, sitting at stops on University trying to get here, reading it, and then, okay, hey, well played, sir. Well played.
By the way, you have just a couple of days left to take advantage of this sale with We Are Nuts at all Lund's and Byerly's and Kowalski's markets. Through the end of the month of September, We Are Nuts is on sale, 25% off at each and every single one of those locations. They've got those beautiful end caps like you can find at your Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores locations, and it doesn't matter. All the snacks are 25% off, whether you want the big, giant cashews, which is my favorite, and the bourbon toffee almonds are also a hit.
I wonder if they carry the popcorn there. Because they have hokey pokey popcorn.
That is pretty good.
It is really delicious popcorn. Fratelloni's has it all. This is not a commercial for Fratelloni's. We happen to carry a ton of their SKUs. And Kowalski's very well made too.
Yep.
If you haven't tried the popcorn, it is 100% worth trying.
And by the way, if you bring that, just so you know, if you bring that hokey pokey popcorn to any one of a kid's activity, you're never seeing that bag again. It's just that good. So anyway, if you're not able to make it to any one of those locations as well, you can order it online at wearenutsmn.com. The Weekly Scramble. We will be right back.
Football is finally back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Play with as little as $1, and you just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, and lots more. This year, I'll probably stick with some of my favorite players like Josh Jacobs of the Packers. He helped me win money last year by usually going higher on yards rushing. I'll be looking for him to again go higher on rushing yards. It's easy to pick, and it makes watching the games that much more fun. Download the app today and sign up with promo code GARAGE to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code GARAGE. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Promo code GARAGE. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
All right. So we're staying with this. Here's what I want to say.
Sure.
Because a thought occurred to me. The evil demon that exists inside a certain section of our society that makes you feel compelled to post something in celebratory fashion about someone's demise just because you didn't agree with them politically, that's the part that I can't stand in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, is the fact that he's being labeled with certain things. And I'm not here to say that I agreed with everything Charlie Kirk stood for.
What person on earth would you agree with everything
That's
he stood for?
exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
If you're going to find someone that you agree with on every single aspect, well, you're misleaded. You're misguided. I mean, I couldn't name one thing I agree with Governor Tim Walz. That doesn't mean I'm going to celebrate if something ever were to happen to him, God forbid, or anybody else. I wouldn't do that. That wouldn't even occur to me to do that.
No, you'd go to his funeral.
That's
if
what I'm
something
saying.
horrible happened to him, you'd go to his funeral
But
or send flowers.
That
or something.
level of empathy that's been lost, I think, Mike, it's going to get worse. I was reading an article a couple of days ago about screen time with kids because I have a 10-year-old who's a great kid. You know Leland, and he's become a little bit addictive, in my opinion, to a screen. To his iPad. I said, hey, we got to do something about this. This is way too much. And I was reading some troubling statistics about kids and screen time, brain development, and long-term effects of that. And I'm thinking, this problem is just going to keep getting worse because of social media, because of the ever-ready availability of it at our fingertips and in the moment, and whatever else with your vulnerability. It's just going to get worse, is my point.
Well, Reavers, I mean, 100% it's not good for children. It's not. First of all, any boy, 11, 12, 13, can type into anything in Google and see every single thing that kids shouldn't see at 11, 12, and 13.
Yep.
I had to wait for the 1979 JCPenney's catalog to come to the house to have any sort of a look at any of that stuff. I didn't, at my fingertips, have the most disgusting, rude, harmful images, right? That's skewing everybody's thoughts. And oh, by the way, if you wanted to see someone get killed, you could just type in, I'd like to see someone get killed, right?
That's the other part of this, too, is just how, is it dehumanized we've become? Where, I mean, think about this. In fact, I brought this up a couple of days ago on GL. There was, sadly, another school shooting, and was it Memphis maybe a couple of days ago? And I remember Johnny Haidt had it in his newscast. And I sat there, and not one of us looked up. Not one of us had like a reaction. No. And I said to the guys, I said, do you guys realize something? I said, 10, 15 years ago, this would have led every newscast in every station across the country. And I said, Johnny, I'm not ripping you, by the way.
Sure.
I said, this was story number 4 in the national segment of the newscast on GL, and not one of us reacted. No. That's eye-opening to me.
It's tough because what are you going to say? What's the answer, right? And those that say, hey, we need to get rid of guns, it's like, good luck. There's 330 million of them. The people who say we're going to get rid of guns or need to get rid of guns, I get it. You don't have guns. Well, this doesn't happen. We have guns. They're not going away.
Well, and the problem is the bad guys aren't going to abide by the law anyway.
No, they're going to have the guns still. Right? So a school full of kids, no one has guns except for the guy who's trying to kill people.
And again, I'm not saying that the perfect answer is to do nothing. That is not what I am saying at all. That there is no perfect answer.
Yeah.
But the problem is, again, just on the gun issue alone, to say that, this person isn't allowed to have a gun, well, that's great in theory. The problem is we've got a Hennepin County attorney now who less than a week ago just announced that we're not even going to pursue low-level traffic stops anymore.
When is she done?
Well, she did announce that she's not going to seek re-election.
So
I don't know if she's up
right?
in November or not. I don't remember that off the top of my head.
Because then some of these idiotic things she's doing, and I'm going to call them idiotic. I'm not calling her an idiot because I don't know her.
She has no business serving the public.
This doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
When all the cops say, time out, you want to do what? When the cops say that, then the prosecutor's not doing the right thing.
I was at a wedding very recently, not in this state, and I was talking to a gentleman that I did not know. I'd never met before, but he and his wife had relocated from the Twin Cities metro area to a city that Joe may or may not be advertising for on Garage Logic.
Yeah.
And they did have some family in the area, but they couldn't take it anymore. And he just said, I still love my state. I still have a bunch of family that live back there. We just needed something different.
Sure.
We needed a change. And he had a background in law enforcement. And so he and I had a really, really good conversation just about the way things are enforced. And he was in the metro area, but not Minneapolis or St. Paul. And he said he had been out of the law enforcement. I'm going to guess he was in his early 60s. Great guy. And he had been retired for about 5 years, I believe. And some of the stuff that he was telling me was just mind-boggling about how if people seriously think that not enforcing just low-level stops is going to be good long-term, because the thing is, and I forget exactly what he said, but I'll summarize. He basically said the 15-year-old kid that's getting arrested for something petty, like a theft or whatever. Well, that kid either has two options, right? That kid is going to either turn into a lifelong criminal and be in prison or dead, or he's going to find a way to turn his life around, which does happen. He did. He goes, I've seen kids that they do make a concerted effort to turn their life around. He said, but this entire notion of not trying to nip it in the bud at the early stages, well, you're not helping anybody.
No.
You're not serving the public. You're making everybody unsafe, and you're also not doing that kid any favors, because that kid's just going to say, "Oh, wait a minute, I just got away with that. Well,
I can do it again.
I'm going to do it again and again and again." And we've seen that. Yeah. It's basically,
you're making a very, very good point.
Yeah, it's basically a wash, rinse, repeat cycle. That's all it is. I don't know. I promised, because he knows what I do, and I promised him I wouldn't tell a lot of that stuff because in confidence, because I didn't in any way want to indict him.
It's no secret. It's no secret that you don't allow people to keep doing bad things, because then they become emboldened, and when they become emboldened, well, then they kill more people, and then they rob more places, then they steal more cars, and it's across all demographics of society feel it, but one demographic of society feels it worse, right?
Yeah.
So wherever those criminals are coming from, oftentimes they're doing that stuff in their neighborhood, right?
And wasn't it hilarious that, remember we talked about this a week or so ago, maybe longer than that, but when Trump decided to bring the National Guard in to help clean up the streets of Washington, D.C., the people that were complaining about it the most and protesting in the streets the most were the white liberals from...
Any of that matters.
Nope.
Matters that you're stuck in a community where there's enough bad apples that it rots the whole bunch, and it doesn't allow those who could get out to succeed, because you just can't get over the hurdles that are stopping you. I mean, your bus is late, your windows are smashed, whatever happens in your community, and it just sucks for people.
Yep.
It just sucks. But that's not high net worth people's fault. Right? And it's not low net worth people's fault. It's criminals' fault. Criminals are making that problem.
Yep.
Right? And I could see how if you were poor and didn't have a lot going on and you were a kid, you're not going to be so beholden to the laws.
What is it? Idle hands are the devil's playground?
Exactly. I believe it.
Let's talk about Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com. I keep I don't want to keep ripping on Gary, but one thing Gary did get at
some Masters Maple.
He got some Masters Maples. And by the way, you can now get Masters Maples at all of your Frattallone's hardware and garden stores locations. The traditional pure maple syrup, which, by the way, I'm due for a run. I'm getting a little low on the maple syrup.
Just bring it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I want to support my guy.
I'm going to charge you, but I'll just deliver it. I wasn't going to give it to you.
Damn it, I was trying to pull what a listener does.
I'm going to charge you.
The bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup, by the way, which is a huge, huge hit. Maple sugar for all of you people out there that are bakers. And also the sweet and savory seasonings and rubs. I got to tell you, the savory seasoning, I just made a porchetta. Okay.
You did?
In the crock pot.
Okay.
With the savory seasoning. Oh my God.
Okay.
Well, I got the porchetta at Rademacher's, my Rademacher's grocery store. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to put a little savory seasoning on this. Holy crap. I probably shouldn't have eaten half of it, but I did.
Yeah. Is that part of your 180 diet?
It's my protein. So I can have my protein for my one meal a night.
Yep,
I have my vegetables on the side.
All right.
I'm probably going to go get another one. It was that good.
Yeah, it was that good.
Their seasonings are fantastic. So you can also look online at mastersmaples.com and see all of those fantastic products that they have to offer. Our buddy Ben, he is the owner and the proprietor of Masters Maples, and it's the best 100% pure products that Minnesota has to offer. Once again, it's mastersmaples.com. Go online to mastersmaples.com, and you can taste the difference. All right. So I was wondering whether I wanted to bring this story up with you or not. And, it's stemming from social media and online, but I've seen a number of different places posting this, so it's worth it. So we all know this. No matter what President Trump says, 50% of the country is just going to react in an aggressive manner against whatever he wants to say. Yep. He could say, I want every illegal alien in this country to thrive, and the left would absolutely hammer down.
Why did they call them illegals?
Build walls. We can't. It doesn't matter. He could cure cancer.
Doesn't matter.
And people would be against it, right? And again, I'm going to say this. I'm going to preface this by saying I don't agree with everything that he's done. But the public sentiment towards him sometimes is a little bit unwarranted.
Remember when he came out with the vaccination and people were like, I'm not taking his vaccination.
Including, by the way, the two people that ran for office.
Yes.
Biden and Harris.
Yep.
100%.
Sure, and maybe they shouldn't have in retrospect, but anyway. We didn't know at that point in time.
So it was 2 days ago, I believe, right, where Robert F. Kennedy Jr. came out and had said pregnant women should probably avoid using Tylenol during pregnancy.
Yeah, he said it a little more aggressively than that. But
he did, but those were his words. Those were his words. And so, of course, then you got all of these people, that pregnant women, whatever, that have to post on their TikToks and their Instagrams and everything else about, he ain't going to tell me what to do with my body.
Okay, wait. To be fair,
Kennedy
said, hey, we don't think it's a good idea. Then Trump said, Tylenol's bad. Don't do Tylenol. It's the worst. Because he should shut his mouth. Let Kennedy, who has a modicum of experience in that department, say it, but then Trump has to jump in and try to dunk on it. Tylenol is bad. You shouldn't take Tylenol. It's like, shut up, Donald. Just if you're right, then it will be known. But go ahead. You have an interesting story.
So, well, it's interesting, but it's also terribly sad. So a pregnant woman, I'm trying to find where the dateline of the story is. It's on the East Coast. I believe, was it North Carolina? I don't remember the location, but it's on the East Coast. But a pregnant woman, in defiance of what President Trump said, took so much Tylenol after hearing Donald Trump say it causes autism in unborn children that she is now in the ICU and sadly is going to die. The executive director of American Frontline Nurses got a very frantic call at 4 o'clock in the morning from a husband whose wife is now dying of liver failure on a ventilator in an ICU because she was trying to prove that Tylenol doesn't cause autism because of what Trump said, end quote. Whether or not you believe the Harvard study or not, that's not the issue here. The issue is that let me start this over. The issue is that she's somewhere between 23 to 25 weeks pregnant, and she overdosed on Tylenol, and sadly, she is going to die. I watched the video from the nurse. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend watching it.
Sure.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
And you're thinking to yourself, what are you trying to prove? I don't care if you think you're some type of influencer. on social. What are you trying to prove? Who are you trying to appease to?
You know,
I don't get it.
I did see some scientists online talking about this, like people that I follow that are scientists, and they said, do you think we're stupid? Do you think we don't want to find out what causes autism? Do you think something as ubiquitous as Tylenol we wouldn't have maybe looked at and said, hey, let's see if Tylenol actually causes autism, right? Tylenol's been around a long time. Autism's been around a long time. There's a huge correlation when they sit down and they say, hey, your child has autism. What did you eat? Oh, did you have fish? Okay, you had fish when you were pregnant. Oh, did you take? Yeah, I took a lot of Tylenol. Okay. Oh, wait, Tylenol. And they hear that 50 times, that Tylenol is something. Don't you think scientists would say, time out?
Right.
Tylenol might be a problem. I'd assume that our scientists aren't full of crap and they would do that, right? And this scientist made a good point. That doesn't mean Tylenol may not have issues. But she was like, how disgusting to think that scientists wouldn't want to find a cure for autism if it was as simple as Tylenol.
But imagine being so warped between the ears that no matter what somebody said, that you were, not going to adhere to that advice, but you were going to be defiant in that because you were just merely trying to prove a point.
And you're going to poison yourself to death.
And not only are you going to now die, you're going to poison yourself to death, and your unborn baby is also most likely not going to make it.
Yep.
I can't, again, I know I mentioned this earlier. I can't Mike, that is psychosis to me. That's what that is. It is.
And by the way, from what I believe, Tylenol back in 2017 said Tylenol should not be taken by pregnant women. Right?
Tylenol issued that.
Tylenol said that. I believe that that's true. It may not be true.
Right. I think I saw
and
that
it said
as well.
Seek doctor's advice, right? Because sometimes you need Tylenol to break a horrible fever, right? But so they were even like, probably you shouldn't take it. Maybe doesn't mean it correlated to autism, but this. Why would you test fate with that?
Right.
Do you have such disdain for the other side that they're like, I don't believe them at all. I'm going to go ahead and take 15 Tylenol, and boom, you're dead of Tylenol poisoning.
To kind of not make light of this particular horrible story.
About it, yep.
But you know what it is almost akin to? Have you seen a lot of these videos where the husband and the wife are at the grocery store and she's picking out fruit? Mm-hmm. And they've got the bag there, and he's filming himself saying, well, watch this. She'll select an apple, place it in the bag, and then he'll pick that same apple out of the bag as she's turned away and say, hey, what do you think of this one? And she's like, nope, and set it down. Well, you just picked that one.
You just picked it.
But now it's not good enough because it came from my hand. That's the exact same thing here. That's exactly what's going on.
I think the correlation
it doesn't
is right.
matter what's going to come out of my mouth, even if it's factual or not. You're just simply going to choose not to believe it because it came from me and not from somebody else.
But it's a problem with Donald Trump, too, though.
I agree.
He's so bombastic.
And he's
such a weird guy.
And I will say this, at times he is his own worst enemy.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
He does a lot of things really great. I mean, I truly believe he does some great things. Then he does a lot of stupid shit. Like, Tylenol is bad. Don't take it. It's like, what are you doing? Well, you're not the Tylenol expert.
Just sit this play out, Don.
Just sit it out. Why do you have to put your foot in the fire? Just shut up. Why would you have to say, oh, that Kimmel, he really needed to be off the air. He was a talented hack. Why say that? Just shut up.
By the way, did you happen to watch his opening monologue?
I spent 0 seconds caring about him.
So what I did was that Tuesday night? Because I know we talked about it on our show on Tuesday.
Maybe Tuesday night.
I think it was Tuesday night. So I specifically decided to wait up because I was watching the Twins game.
Okay.
Because I have nothing better to do in my life.
You must have nothing better to do.
Then I'm watching a 66-win baseball team. I don't care. I love baseball. Don't at me. It's what I do.
Good for you.
Anyway, so I was watching the Twins game. I thought, you know what? That's right. I was going to go to bed. I thought, you know what? Kimmel's on. I'll flip it over to Kimmel. I'll watch. And again, I'm going to guarantee I probably have never watched his show live before.
Okay.
Ever, period.
It's just segments you see online.
I'll see segments online or maybe something comes across in the DVR, whatever. But I don't think I've ever seen his show in real time live before. So that, you know what? I'm gonna tune into the last couple of minutes of our friends downstairs at KSTP. I'm going to watch the end of the news, and I'll watch Jimmy Kimmel. And so I watched his opening monologue, and he did make an attempt to sound somewhat sympathetic to everything, and that's fine. But then I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute here. This was going to be arguably your biggest audience you've probably ever had.
Yep.
And there's no there.
It wasn't funny.
Yeah. No, there was nothing.
Sure.
It was just, is this what people were clamoring
Who
for.
were his guests, out of curiosity?
No idea. Opening monologue was off, and I shut her down. Well, he had a musical guest that someone interested me, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's the law of unintended consequences that Trump didn't seem to understand. If you try to dunk on Jimmy Kimmel because you use the FCC to get him kicked off the air, then he comes back and they said, we're not going to do that because that looks inappropriate. Then he comes back, then he has an 8 million person audience and a whole bunch of people who say, now I have to follow him because Trump hates him. Why do that, Trump? Just shut up.
Can I tell you, though, what I think he's doing? And I can't remember if I've shared this with you before or if I've shared with the crowd on GL, but you know who I think he is deep down?
Oh.
He's Royce.
You think so?
He's 100%
you think he's
Royce.
Trolling people?
He loves to get people going.
Yeah.
And that's why so many times I'll have people run up. And, Royce took a long extended time away from Twitter, which I bet so many people he's going to be back.
Yeah.
He's going to be back. He can't help himself.
Sure.
And I remember him telling me specifically, "Hey, asshole, I'm never coming back." I said, I'll bet you $100 you'll be back on Twitter. And that was part of the reason why he stayed away as long as he did, because he didn't want me to be right.
Yeah, there you go.
Because again, I love him. He's the uncle I never asked for. But he's doing the exact same thing that Royce does when the Gopher football team loses a game. He just loves to toss a grenade in the middle of the room and walk away, because people will come up to him and say, "Why does he have to go?" You don't get it. He's trying to get you going. That's what he does, meaning Patrick.
Sure.
I said, that's exactly, buddies of mine that love sports. I'm like, you don't get it. He's shooting fish in a barrel.
Sure.
That's exactly what Trump is doing.
And Trump could be doing that. I also think Trump loves to hate more than he loves to love. I think he likes the pressure of everyone's against me. I get why he'd feel that way, because people tried to shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Right? People tried to put him in jail for the rest of his life. People tried to steal $500 million from him. I can see why he's on edge, but I think he really loves to hate more than he loves to love. Right? I don't know, Reavers, if you heard that a person was shot. So it's not breaking news, but someone was shot. So a man was shot with a starter pistol and beaten with a rally baton.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it was a race-related crime. See what I did there? I shouldn't have started, because that's a tough one, because you can't say you're shot, right? But I got another one.
Okay.
Let's pass on that one, but it was a race-related crime.
I see.
Because he was shot with a starter's pistol and a race baton. Okay. Do you know why Darth Vader was referred to as Lord Vader?
I don't.
It's because all of the stormtroopers giggled when he was referred to as Master Vader. I wanted to work the Master Vader into the Master's Maple commercial so badly, but I don't know how to work that in.
I'm really glad you decided not to.
Because I love them.
Yes.
And they're great people. I don't want them saying, "We cancel. Take the stuff out of your stores, Mike. You're a doofus." Reavers, you are the best.
Please do us a favor, rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast, on whatever platform you happen to be listening to. It helps others find the show, and it really does help us out as well, and we appreciate each and every single one of you. His name is Mike Fredoloni. My name is Chris Reavers. Thank you so very much for listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. We will talk to you again next time, and until then, cheers.